Henry Horn assigned Lieutenant General Julian Byng as commander of the Canadian Corps on January 19, 1917. This was the unit to attack Vimy Ridge in the spring of that year. Though the highest point, called Hill 145, was only 150 meters above sea level, it is the highest point of many kilometers. This high ground allowed the Germans to see the Canadian and British trenches. This is the reason the Germans poured so many resources into defending that ridge, with over 34,000 meters of fire trenches, 15,000 meters of communication trenches, and over 9,000 meters of barbed wire entanglements. The British and French armies' offensives could only begin after the Germans were removed from the ridge.
The Battle of Vimy Ridge began April 9, 1917, at 5:30 a.m. This attack had followed two previous attacks on the ridge, which resulted in over 150,000 Allied casualties. The Canadians had used more than 50,000 horses in the weeks preparing for this attack. The first wave of battle included 20,000 Canadians. In total, 10,600 soldiers were injured, and 3,600 died.
The Canadians were not the first to try to take Vimy. In 1915, the French suffered 100,000 casualties, and the British suffered 40,000. General Byng was determined to succeed, despite everybody thinking he and the Canadian Corps could not. Before a single bullet was fired, there was lots of preparation to be done. 100,000 troops were assembled for the attack and needed food, ammunition, and water. 70 kilometers of pipeline were constructed, along with 40 kilometers of road and 30 kilometers of tramways. However, the most important construction was a series of tunnels snaking under no man's land. These tunnels allowed for Canadian troops to move through no man's land without getting hit by German artillery.
Sir,
At ease.
we've been bombing the Germans for 2 weeks. Are we attacking today?
Yes, Private. You and your division know your roles. I expect everybody to be ready in 30 minutes.
I heard we were the third to attack this ridge, and there were many Allied casualties before us.
It's okay. We're using our new battle tactics, and General Byng has prepared us very well for this battle. We also have so much manpower with all 4 Canadian divisions coming together. We're totally going to win this battle.
The Canadians had been bombing the Germans with artillery shells for 2 weeks, and they decided April 9th at 5:30 in the morning was the time to attack. This was the first time all 4 divisions had come together, and Lieutenant General Julian Byng had been preparing these Canadians for battle for months.
Men, today is the day we prove our stuff. I want all our watches set to 4:30 a.m. Good luck.
Yes,
Yes, sir!
When the bomb hit, that's when we charged the Germans. Go, go, go! Fall back! Fall back!
After the disastrous battle at the Somme, the Canadian Corps were refit with weapons slightly superior than before. The structure of command was also slightly reorganized. Rather than the leaders making decisions and the soldiers following blindly, all units were told what they had to accomplish, so this allowed for the soldiers to better adapt to different situations. Wave tactics, where soldiers were thrown against enemy machine guns, were also abandoned. Instead, while machine gun fire was present, they would move in short bounds and under stealth. Before the official battle began, barrages of artillery were launched starting March 20th, and once the battle started, over 1 million artillery shells hit the Germans. From April 2nd to April 9th would later be named by the Germans as the Week of Suffering.
At the price of the element of surprise, all 3 countries would bring heavier and heavier guns to the battlefield in the hope of destroying the enemy's defenses. But later it was discovered that the key was to find a balance between firepower and mobility. As a result, the creeping barrage was born.
What do we do?
Keep fighting, that's what we do!
Creeping barrage was a strategy used where the heavier artillery was manned in front of the infantry, slowly moving forwards. The bombardment would incapacitate the enemy's defenses, causing the enemy troops to take cover in the trenches until the infantry was upon them. The only issue with this approach was that there was no reliable means of communication between the infantry troops and the artillery, resulting in numerous casualties from friendly fire.
The 3rd Division had encountered little resistance. The 1st and 2nd had been attacked by enemy machine guns, and the 4th had lost contact with the creeping barrage.
Nova Scotia Battalion, you're to commence attack on Hill 145 immediately.
But sir, with all due respect, we're inexperienced. How are we supposed to do that, sir?
Private, you will take the Germans by surprise. You will have Hill 145 by tomorrow.
Yes, sir!
Sure enough, the Nova Scotians caught the Germans off guard, and Hill 145 was in Canadian hands the next afternoon. Highest point on the ridge after Hill 145, the Pimple.
Yes! Congratulations, men! We have taken Vimy Ridge!
The longest distance a Canadian regiment had to advance was 3.8 kilometers. On April 10th, 1917, the Canadians had secured Hill 145, but not the Pimple, which was the second most heavily defended German position. On April 12th, the Canadians had secured the Pimple, resulting in the capture of Vimy Ridge. This capture, which had been a German stronghold since 1914, was a crucial point in victory in the war.
Men! Yep. Today is the day we prove our stuff. Oh my God. Today is the day we prove our stuff. I want... Okay. Today is the day we prove our stuff. I want all... Okay.
I didn't even laugh.
Men! Today is the day...
I saw that mess up cock.
Go. The 3rd Division had encountered little resistance. Hello? No.
Go.
The Canadians had been bombing the Germans with artillery shells for days.
That's with 3.8 kilometers.
Lieutenant General Julian Byng had been preparing these Canadians for months. All 4 divisions had come together. And
Okay, guys.
do not say we didn't shoot our guns like this. Okay, like this is the 10th time, and you're talking.
1, go.
Oh no. Oh man. 5:30 in the morning was the time to attack. That's it.
Oh, nice.
Next.
Get back here! For the motherland!
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Nova Scotian Battalion, you will commence attack on Hill 145 right now.
But sir, with all due respect, we are inexperienced. How are we supposed to do that?
Private, you will attack.
But sir, with all due respect, we are inexperienced. How are we supposed to do that, sir?
Private, you will catch the Germans off guard.
Inexperienced. How are we supposed to do that, sir?
Private, you will catch Nova Scotia Battalion. You're at attack Hill 145 immediately.